This week, I wanted to do something on seeking dissent within organizations, and so I've named this episode "Seek and Encourage Different Views." Now, just be honest with you, different views equals disagreement, and a lot of people, whether they're executives or just people on the front line and everywhere in between, um, they don't like conflict, and they want to be agreeable with what's going on. And I'll, working with HR groups in organizations, they always say, well, we have certain ways we want people to be. Well, okay, to a point. But you want not everybody to be agreeable or afraid to speak up within the organization, or you wind up with what is often known as groupthink, which means everybody's thinking the same way, and we hire people who think the same way, and we get people who think the same way, and that doesn't bode well for finding new ideas and looking at things differently, making better decisions, and everything else that goes in it. So to do that, you have to realize that there is power in the hierarchy within your organization. Whatever you can do to mitigate the power of the hierarchy so people will be able to speak up and say things. Now, I've made a career out of being the dissenter within organizations, which is one of the reasons why, I started my own company, because, when you're part of the organization, people don't like someone who dissents all the time or is deemed disagreeable. So, I'm probably as disagreeable as you will find, but most organizations benefit from that because I don't see things the same way as they do within organizations, come up with new ideas, new ways of looking at things, but people have to be open to it. You can't just say, I'm very much open, and then every move you make turns out to be. I've worked with many people like this. Oh yeah, we want new ideas and we want new things. Oh, not that, type of thing. So it's kind of funny that people in the hierarchy have egos. To just to be honest, and it's often that ego is used to crush dissent, and so what happens to the organization is it becomes steeped in control and power, sometimes not even consciously. It's often something that people are not even aware of. But I've had people tell me the stories you get, especially for people on the front line. I tried to talk to the CEO, and especially a larger organization, the egos get bigger, right? So I tried to talk to CEO on the elevator, and there were other people on the elevator, and after the CEO got off, everybody was going, "You can't do that. That's, you're not allowed to talk to the CEO." I'm like, "What?" So you need to be aware of how crushing your hierarchy is within your organization. And I got to tell you, it's a blind spot for executives to look at their people as something that's a resource that can actually help them. But in order to advance your organization, my method, in essence, says this is what you need to do: is you've got to have people on the front line that you trust to feed you information when things change in the environment. And if they're afraid by virtue of the system that you've put in place, you can't compete with that. Things change too quickly in organizations. And I would say for the tech companies, way too quickly. And many are, like I said, steeped in control and power as opposed to seeking out different views. And, if you look at systems that are out there, one of the reasons that the U.S. has been successful, and this is being challenged now, is that we have three branches of government. And so it's built into the system of government in the U.S. that we encourage dissent because the courts aren't going to agree with the executive branch. The executive branch isn't going to agree with Congress, and Congress doesn't agree with the courts. And so we've got this cycle, and it can be frustrating because you feel like you're not maybe moving things forward, but at the same time, it gives you time to think things through. And now some of this stuff is being challenged, in government, where, well, no, we need to have mandates and, dictators and, things of this sort. And it's crazy. But this is kind of I'm not saying that your organization needs to become the U.S. government, but what I am saying is you need to build something into your system where you design into your organization a way to seek dissent within it. And some of the times it's things like, there's some subtle things like, don't offer your idea up first, listen to others, and that way, you can do it, and your ego doesn't get bent because people have already offered it up, rather than your idea being offered up and then somebody shooting it down, and then they wind up without a job because you can't, disagree with me because I'm the CEO. And so you run into this situation where you get these leaders in organizations that are narcissistic, basically, or just way too sensitive about their power and their ability to control in the organization. So remember to really take a look at your organization. I mean, are people allowed to dissent? Do you ignore the people that aren't in the hierarchy, high up in the hierarchy, or are you listening to people that are on the front line? Do you seek it out? I've heard a lot of executives that have said, I have an open door policy, come in any time. But then you go in and then your idea is basically shot down, or, you hear stories of this stuff all the time. Yeah, it's open door, but the door is never open, type of thing. So there are things that you need to look for within your organization to see if you're allowing disagreement about things. And I'll be honest with you, most organizations don't allow dissent. They don't allow disagreement, and you're ostracized within an organization if you have different ideas about how things should go. Anyway, that's what I wanted to cover this week. And remember, there is always a better way.